Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to wrap up this week's theme of unexpected favorites, checking out the last song for this week, where maybe it's a track you didn't enjoy, but you listen to it and you're like, yeah, that's actually a jam. We're going to be checking out an old group. Maybe they're still around. I don't know. I remember them from my teenage years, though. Gym Class Heroes. This track is called Stereo Hearts, and it features Adam Levine of Maroon 5 fandom. Popularity. Whatever. Let's dig into this, see what Gym Class Heroes is bringing to the table today.
My heart's a stereo, it beats for you, so listen close. Hear my thoughts in every note.
I know this song. I thought this was Maroon 5 my whole life.
Baby. If I was just another dusty record on the shelf, would you blow me off and play me like everybody else? If I asked you to scratch my back, could you manage that?
I guess I've never heard the verse though.
Furthermore, I
I would not get this confused with Maroon 5.
I used to, now I'm over that. Cause holding grudges over love is ancient artifacts. If I could only find a note to make you understand, I sing it softly in your ear and grab you by the hands. Keep me stuck inside your head like your favorite tune. And know my heart's a stereo.
I don't know what that. There's a big crunchy sound in the verse. I actually really dig this halftime idea right here.
Let's go! If I was an old school 50-pound boombox, would you hold me on your shoulder wherever you walk? Would you turn my volume up in front of the cops and crank it higher every time they told you to stop? And all I ask is that you don't get mad at me when you have to purchase Mad D.
I dig that delayed hit on the beginning of this phrase.
You never know, we come and go like on the interstate. I think I finally found a note to make you understand. If you can hit it, sing along and take me by the hands. Keep me stuck inside your head like your favorite tune. You know my heart's a stereo, the only place for you.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. I don't think the verse and chorus work well together, but that was a really smooth transition between the ideas.
My stereo.
I like the addition of the violin in this section as well.
I only pray you'll never leave me behind.
Never leave me.
Because good music can be so hard to find.
So hard to find.
I'll take your hand and hold it closer to mine.
Yeah.
Our love was dead, but now you're changing my mind. My heart's a stereo. It beats for you, so listen close.
It's really interesting how chill this track is, not just musically, but also through the vocal delivery.
My stereo.
Oh, I like this variation with the Yaz.
Gym Class Heroes, baby. Yeah.
See, that's kind of bizarre because I've never heard the bridge or the verse. I've only ever heard the chorus to that. And I always thought it was a Maroon 5 track. And I'm trying to figure out why I would only have heard the chorus. Or maybe I've only remembered the chorus. I mean, this came out 11 years ago. I've been working in a department store at the time. And this was probably on the radio, and maybe the chorus was the only thing that caught my ears. Maybe I heard the verse and just never made the connection that they were the same song. I don't know. It's so bizarre. That chorus. I know that chorus, but I've never heard the rest of this. Um, so let's get into, what's happening in this track. It's split up between two different vibes. We also have the bridge, but we'll get into that later. It's pretty much like one of our vibes. So we have uh we have the hip hopish section where Gym Class Heroes is laying down a verse with some light rapping on top of it. Everything under that is primarily beat based. Both verses had different beats to them, um, but they were rather simple, which I guess kind of works for this. Pop is usually about palatability and accessibility. And hip hop, while there are some really technical layered hip hop stuff out there, a lot of it tends to be more on the um, non-complex side. I don't want to call it simplistic, but it's not aiming for complexity. And they really took that to another level here, especially with the second verse, is what I remember more details about, which was pretty much just a hi-hat and hand claps, and that was it. There was a couple embellishing sounds that came in to kind of provide an essence of notes, of pitches against the two percussive instruments and the rapping, which he does eventually lean into some held out notes that are intended. It's not just holding a syllable out, they are going in a progression of sorts. They are mostly in tune as well. There's not much to base that off of. There's not a piano playing chords around to really gauge how in tune they are, but it's in tune enough for me to hear a progression going on. I'm not saying he's out of tune. I just have no barometer to figure out what his tonality is. Um, and that's the entire verse. It's very minimalistic. It's designed to provide a palatable beat and really give way for the vocals to be heard and understood clearly, while also contrasting what we would get in the chorus, which is a bit more bombastic. It's a bit louder, but it's still super chill. We just have more stuff going on. We have lead chordal instruments. Our percussive section isn't just a hi-hat on every beat. It's got groove to it. It's got extra notes in it to fill the space out. It feels more like a pop rock track, like you would expect from Maroon 5, than a hip hop track, like what Gym Class Heroes is bringing to the table. And, like I said, I don't really think they work well together. Going from our second chorus into our second verse was rough. It's just a huge tonal shift. But coming out of our second verse into our third chorus actually really worked. There's a little bit of a bassy buildup there that began to widen things out, and I think there's even a small introduction of, oh yeah, our vocalist brought a little bit of melody in with some held notes I just got done talking about. That slowly eased us into that pop rock vibe out of our minimalistic hip hop. That transition actually worked really well. But moving from the very large rock based idea into the minimalistic percussion and vocals, that transition was not as good. And it, at least to me, really put a big division between the two styles of music. And it caused me to really question their ability to work together. And that's not to say that everything needs to be perfectly in sync when you create a song. Of course, we've listened to a ton of music that just smashes disparate ideas together and calls it a day, and people love it. I'm not saying that this is a wrong way to make music, it just feels strange to me, especially since a lot of pop music like this is designed for accessibility and, mostly consonants. Everything really needs to work together. And obviously, this is huge. I mean, This song has 7 million likes on it and 600 million views. This is a popular track. It still worked for the masses. It's just interesting to me how separated these two styles are in this track. Which does remind me about our first verse. There was this really strange sound. It was really just kind of a vibration. It's a lower tone, and it was just like whoa, 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 whoa. And it's I, I don't even know what the point of it was. It caught my attention and distracted me from the vocals. Um, but it just sat there on its one note and sort of just vibrated every once in a while, and it was providing a rhythmic idea that played well with everything else, but it, like I said, it distracted me from what I think is supposed to be the intended spotlit element, which is the vocals, the one moving idea here. Very interesting. I also love how the two verses were different. That didn't show up in the second verse, and we went from something that was a little wider to something hyper minimalistic in our second verse. So I can appreciate the attention to detail in that. Even if I don't necessarily think the first verse was phenomenal, I like the fact that they changed things up instead of just copy pasting. And so we start with the chorus. Actually, so our structure is B A B A B. But what's really cool is aside from our first introduction chorus, our second and third choruses all have a post chorus to them that I absolutely love. It is a halftime feel with heavy syncopation that I think is phenomenal. It provides this really nice rhythmic shift to the song while also just creating a hyper groovy section that works well with the overlapping vocal ideas that only get expanded upon even heavier in our final post chorus during our intro of the song when we introduce a third voice, which is the yaz in the background of it. So we have our lead instrument, our lead vocals, and then our backup vocals, all with this really nice rhythmic syncopation going on, and it just sounds very clean. Absolutely love that. And it's a great way to sort of bring things down a little bit as well. We have that high energy, wide sound from our chorus. How do we bring this into our verse? Well, we bring it down to halftime so we can spread out the notes a little bit more so that we can move into the minimalistic verse 2. It works very well in that regards, even though I said that it's still a rough transition into that verse 2, but at least there was an attempt. I think if they had gone straight from the chorus into the verse, it would have been even more of a wild shift. So there was an attempt to smoothen it out, but yeah, it's still a huge difference there. And then that brings us to our bridge, which is minimalistic again, but for Adam, for our pop rock side. It's mostly just him singing with a small backing track. And this is where I started to get clued into the vocal stuff. You see, Adam has some really great air pressure going on, but not a lot of volume. This is a very comfortable sing-songy speaking voice that he's singing in. He's not really massively projecting, which I think is very cool because the song is very gentle and lighthearted. It's fun and upbeat, but not massive, not bombast. I know I said bombastic earlier. I'm taking it back. It's not bombastic. It's not larger than life. It's not, um, Mariah Carey, just belting these notes out. No, it's a very gentle, calming track. It's feels very rooted and grounded, and having this like I know Adam can belt when he wants to, but he doesn't here. He just really restrains it and goes for something very comfortable and calming. He does have one belt at the end of the bridge that you can feel he puts more pressure into. He's really got to get up to that note, but otherwise it's just a very comfortable range for him. And I love how that vibes with the rest of the track. And I'm really glad that we got that isolated moment in the bridge of just the vocals for me to be like, what am I paying attention to here? Oh, there's only vocals. Let me check out what's going on here. Because I really wasn't paying that much attention to the vocals other than pitch prior to this in the choruses. Um, but yeah, it really just clued me into the vocal technique there, which matches well with the energy that Gym Class Heroes is bringing with that, I don't want to call it effortless, but lower energy rapping. It's just, again, it's a very comfortable range for the vocalist to be in, both when he hits those pitched notes at the end of the verses and when he's rapping. And the whole thing just comes off as very effortless and chill. Um, and I just dig that because the music lines up with what the vocals are bringing. And I think that about covers everything. So let's do some lyrics. My heart's a stereo, it beats for you, so listen close, hear my thoughts in every note, make me your radio and turn me up when you feel low. This melody was meant for you, just sing along to my stereo. Yeah. Using musical metaphors to talk about, being in a relationship. I can get behind that. I love musical metaphors. Let's see where this is going. If I was just another dusty record on the shelf, will you blow me off and play me like everybody else? If I ask you to scratch my back, could you manage that? Like yickety yeah, check it, Travi, I can handle that. Okay, so we're still working with the musical metaphors. He's likening himself to a dusty record on the shelf. But I like this idea. He says, if I ask you to scratch my back, could you manage that? And then follows that up with like yicky yeah, check it. Much like somebody scratching a record and getting that scratching sound. Yeah, I dig that. That's kind of clever. Furthermore, I apologize for any skipping tracks. It's just the last girl that played me left a couple cracks. I used to. Now I'm over that. Going with the idea of, I'm a little broken, likening that to the musical metaphor of a record that skips, and then utilizing this moment to skip the lyrics to repeat the same idea over and over. Because holding grudges over love is ancient artifacts. Ancient artifacts. Like, I get the idea here. What's in the past is the past. Ancient artifacts is an interesting phrase to use here, though. Holding, he's not even saying like the relationships are ancient, or he says that holding a grudge over love is ancient artifacts. Yeah, I don't know. If only I could, the pre-chorus, if only I could find a note to make you understand, I'd sing it softly in your ear and grab you by the hand. Oh, I like that. If I could find a note, like a musical note, but also making you understand, you could compose a note with language, like a letter to help somebody understand. That, there's so much good wordplay in here. I'd sing it softly in your ear and grab you by the hand. Just keep it stuck inside your head like your favorite tune, and know my heart's a stereo that only plays for you. Yeah. We go back to the chorus, which you've already covered at the beginning. And then the post chorus, which is the really syncopated idea, is just oh, 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 oh. I don't know the rhythm. Just sing along to my stereo. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Like I said, just a nice catchy moment. Verse 2, if I was an old school 50-pound boombox, do you remember them? Would you hold me on your shoulder whenever you walk? Would you turn my volume up in front of the cops and crank it higher every time they told you to stop? And all I ask is you don't get mad at me when you have to purchase Mad D batteries. Oh, that's good. Appreciate every mixtape your friends make. You never know. We come and go like on the interstate. That's the second verse that has ended on a line that I don't know. I don't get. Pre-chorus, chorus, post-chorus, bridge. I only pray you'll never leave me behind, 'cause good music can be so hard to find. I take your hand to hold it close to mine. Thought love was dead, but now you're changing my mind. So yeah, it's a really great love song with a ton of musical metaphors in it. Um, And I can definitely get on board with that. And like I said, it's real chill, right? It's not like I'm professing my love on the top of a mountain lyrics. It's just like, hey, we're in a relationship, we're chill right here, and I enjoy spending time with you. Do you enjoy spending time with me? And that's it. It's like real low stakes love song, and I dig that. The music embodies that so well. Those are my thoughts on Gym Class Heroes Stereo Hearts. That's where y'all come in. Let me know your thoughts. You enjoyed or not? Anything that stand out to you? Anything you'd like to add on to what I said or correct me on? Let me know down in the comments. Above the comment section is a description box, and then there's a link for Linktree. It takes you to this place right here. It has links for everything related to the channel. You can find multiple ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord, and a link to my music if you're interested in that. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. All right, we have 2 creator requests today, as we do on Fridays. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow, album review. Sunday, we got a live stream. And Monday, we'll be back with next week's theme. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.